Hi, if you're a Sagittarius born November 22nd to December 21st, what can you expect for the month of May 2017? Let's tune in and find out. Okay, so Sagittarius, I really feel like your happy-go-lucky energy may be tested this month with people who don't believe you that you're really that, chill. so there's this little bit of feeling tested a little bit by other people, and I don't know that they mean to do that. It's just sort of an energy that's up a little bit in the middle, that's coming into May. This just feels like, by the way, not a big deal. It just feels like, it's like, wow, why don't they believe me? Or why are they acting weird, right? It's a little bit just this kind of bizarre energy that's kind of just lingering in early May. I don't see it, it feels like it clears up later on, and I feel where you're really back into that space of being able to be in the rhythm and be in the flow, and not having other people question you for who you are or what you're doing, right? So there's just a little bit of somebody trying to step on your toes or question your integrity or question what you're up to or what you're doing. The best thing to do with that is just, ask questions, right? Don't get defensive, just ask questions. And I feel like you're going to have the patience to be able to stop and just take it at face value, not take it in, see that it's just a question that needs to be answered. Don't take it personal. And because we still have a little bit of this miscommunication happening here until probably the middle of the month. Mercury does go direct May 3rd, which is that planet of communication. But there's a little lag time for really it to get off of the ground. So some of that miscommunication may linger here the first week or two of May. All right, so let's move into what those of you that are in a committed romantic relationship, what might be in store for you in the month of May. So there's an ability that you have to be able to see something that your partner needs, and that would be of value for them. But it sort of feels like your partner's quite not ready to hear that yet. So it feels like the first week or two, don't force information, ideas, or concepts on your partner. Let them sort of come into it their own. It feels like if you say, hey, why are you doing it like that? You should do it like this. It would be much better. It's going to create this, upset with your partner. There's a full moon in Scorpio on May 10th, which can cause some heavy energy, some negativity, some miscommunication. So to kind of avoid that, what there is to do is just observe and see and take notes about the changes that you may want to share with your partner. And at the end of the month, they'll be wide open for it. They'll go, wow, thank you. That's so cool. I never thought of that, right? But if you try and give them that information in the first week, your head's going to be on a platter. So they won't be so interested in it. So just know that that's one little thing that you can avoid in the relationship. The positive things, there is a lot of connection and fun, especially around May. There's this diversity. So around May 10th, there can also be this really great energy that the two of you could share together. And it can be a little bit like, how Christmas Day or those birthdays where you can have this huge celebration, and then maybe you drink too much and it ends up just like on a real bad note. It's like that kind of energy. So if you have something really spectacular happening on that day, just, enjoy it, but just make sure you keep it in check, that you don't go too far. Because I do feel like there's a lot of fun that you and your partner can have this month that's really going to open you up to just, what attracted you to them in the first place. So by the end of the month, before we even get to that, around the 17th or 20th, there may be a chance for the two of you to take off or to travel someplace. Might even be someplace warm or someplace that's relaxing, but it does feel like there's a good chance for the two of you to get away, have a nice romantic connection, and some alone time. So look for that, and if you want to, go ahead and create it in your schedule with your partner. Be a nice opportunity to be able to reconnect. At the end of the month, we have a full moon in Gemini, May 25th, and that just feels like there may even be a little bit of distance between you and your partner. In other words, not a bad thing, but just like you're doing this and they're doing that, just kind of like this diversity that's happening in the relationship, but it's healthy, right? It's not a bad thing. It's like they get to do their favorite thing and you get to do your favorite thing and you come back together. So there's this really fun, adventurous weekend that's available for you around that new moon of Gemini. So really good stuff. Let's look at the single Sages. If you're interested in having a romantic partner this month, will the universe support you in that? If you're willing, Sages, to take your time and to kind of pay attention to the signs around you. So it reminds me of, the bees pollinating, right? And it's like, oh, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of people to see, a lot of people to talk to, but I'm really lingering in this one space, right? Really, really connecting with this one person. So it's about, in the beginning of the month, you may spend too much time with the wrong kind of person or the wrong type of person, only to later find out they were married or not really interested in you, or they were just a gold digger, right? Wanted you for your money or for what you can do in the world, right? So the energy is wrong. So I would say at the beginning of the month, I would not spend so much time one-on-one with somebody. I would spend more time in group energy, or if you are going to get to know somebody one-on-one, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like spread that out a little bit, do a little more pollinating everywhere. By the middle and end of the month, there's really now more synergy and certainly a lot more clarity for you to get what you want. And I also feel like you might meet your partner in crime. Like you both love to do these outrageous things. You both love to do kind of like, whether you both tend to be somebody who plays practical jokes, or there's just the same sort of sense of humor and the same lightness. So I really see you connecting with somebody who's lighthearted and who likes to have fun and who's kind of really footloose and fancy free, but you're doing it together. So I really see you attracting somebody that's very similar to you towards the end of the month, anywhere from May 17th on, this real likable character. And I really feel like you really connecting well together. So that is possible for you if you want to do that. Okay, let's look at money for Sagittarius for this month of May. There may be something that you've been investing in and you've been putting your money towards that you may now see has not been the best use of your time, your money, or your resources. And I see you seeing that like around, May 10th, May 15th, and you go, you know what, I'm pulling the plug on this project, I'm pulling the plug on this, I'm selling it, I'm getting out. I'm firing this person, I'm moving forward. So all of a sudden, all these changes are happening and you're going in a different direction. And it could be something that you've sort of known has been off or wrong, and you just now finally, are just in a space where you can actually do something about it. Or it's new information and you just go, you know what, I'm not waiting, I'm just over it, I'm done. So I see you pulling the plug and letting go of something that you've been putting your money into that hasn't really been as sound as an investment as you would like, or has been giving you the return that you want. So I see you maneuvering and making changes around that mid-month. With that, I also feel like there is some more diversity can happen. So when you make that adjustment, I do think that there's several things now that you do with that money or maneuver. It's not just one thing. So it might be a new business that you put back behind, or it might be another kind of investment, or you might go on a vacation as well. It's like moving that, shifting or adjusting that money into a couple different platforms or a couple different resources feels like what may happen in May. But here's the thing. With astrology or with intuitive information like this, you don't really have to think about it. It's just kind of like things that naturally come up and naturally are awakened in you. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't sweat it. It's just like it will come up and it will present itself, and then you'll go, oh, okay, now here it is. Now I understand, and now I feel good about putting, taking that, changing it, and moving it into 3 different spaces instead of 1, right? So it's more than as a confirmation as it shows, as opposed to you trying to maneuver and make it happen. Whenever you try and take what is said and then you try and manage it or manipulate it into your life, it never works out. It's always like, what? And then you get the lesson later and you see where it was really where it really shows up. So what a bottom line is if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. It's going to show itself. And when it presents itself, you're going to go, oh, all right, this is what it was. I'm just closing out the savings bond that I have, and I'm taking the money, and I'm going to do this, this, and this with it, right? It's simple. Okay, let's move on to your health. So I feel like some of you have been dealing with maybe throat issues or larynx issues, or even having dry mouth, but it has to do with the voice. Also has to do with being able to speak up and say what you want when you want. This month there's going to be more freedom to be heard, and more freedom for you to actually say, hey, this has been on my mind and I need to say this, and I've been sort of avoiding it. And I feel like there's open and clear communication from the middle of the month forward. And that's going to improve your health. It's going to give you more energy, and it's going to just make you feel more appreciated and more understood. There's also something that comes in terms of exercise. It may be that you move from something traditional to something non-traditional. You may find yourself all of a sudden deciding to do rowing. You know, it may have to do something more physical with the water, maybe taking up swimming. But I feel like you're moving from weightlifting into something that's a little more freer and a little more robust, something that's more adventure driven, something that's closer to your nature. So I see you wanting to get back outside and back out to the outdoors and really being able to express yourself in a new way, and that really helps your health. Okay, let's look and see what's unexpected for you, what may show up in this month. Okay. There's this, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so there may be somebody initially, I think I touched on this when I started, about there may be some rejection or miscommunication or questioning of you, of what you're doing. And I feel like that comes full circle, and by the end of the month, they love you. They appreciate you. It's like, wow, I had no idea. And maybe even apologize. So whatever that situation was that I opened up with about somebody, you know, needing more information about you, or questioning your ethics, or questioning the way that you handle something, by the end of the month, it's completely worked out. There's a real honoring and appreciation of who you are, and it feels really good to be vindicated and to be understood for who you are. So I see that whole situation kind of resolving itself, and you having the patience to kind of go through it. Okay. The last thing is just, you know, really being present to yourself and being present to your needs. And some of you maybe have gotten far, you know, a little too far away from that because you've been doing too much for somebody else. And I see yourself getting back into balance by the end of the month, really being able to balance life a little bit better. And some of the challenges that you've gone through, and whether that's dealing with a sick kid or family issues or having to take care of sick parents, or the responsibility of a failing business and trying to work things out, there's some buoyancy that happens that brings new life into you, so that whatever you've gone through, there's a feeling sense of like, yeah, you know, I can handle anything. I'm still here. I got myself here, and you know, life is getting better. So no matter where you are on this Richter scale of life, just know that by the end of May, there's just this sense of, you know, I can handle this, I can manage it, and things are getting better. And you're getting closer to your own reserves and your own ability to be able to feel good about making the decisions for you, and not always having to consider everybody else. But this sense of being able to put yourself first again, at least for a while. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much for listening. And if you like my intuitive astrology, please click like. Feel free to comment below and share it with friends. And I hope you have a terrific May, and I'll connect with you again next month.